Hello and welcome to this video, where we will rank the top 10 air forces in the world, based on their TVR score. TVR is a metric that considers not only the number of aircraft in a given air force, but also their type, capability, age, condition, and readiness. It also takes into account the local aero industry capabilities, inventory balance, and force experience of each country. The highest attainable TVR score is 242.9, held by the United States Air Force. Let's see how the other air forces compare to this benchmark. 10. Israeli Air Force. Starting with number 10, we have the Israeli Air Force, with a TVR score of 58.0. The Israeli Air Force is one of the most combat-experienced and technologically advanced air forces in the world, with a fleet of over 500 aircraft, including modern fighters, bombers, helicopters, and drones. The Israeli Air Force also has a strong air defense system, with the Iron Dome and David Sling intercepting rockets and missiles. The Israeli Air Force is known for its daring and successful operations, such as the 1981 bombing of the Osirak nuclear reactor in Iraq, and the 2007 destruction of the Al-Kibar nuclear facility in Syria. 9. Japan Air Self-Defense Force. Next, we have the Japan Air Self-Defense Force, with a TVR score of 58.1. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force is the aerial branch of the Japan Self-Defense Forces, responsible for defending the Japanese airspace and conducting air operations. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force has a fleet of nearly 800 aircraft, including modern fighters, such as the F-35 and the F-2, as well as transport, reconnaissance, and AWACS planes. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force also operates the Epsilon and HIIA rockets, which can launch satellites into orbit. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force is a key ally of the United States in the Asia-Pacific region, and participates in joint exercises and missions. 8. People's Liberation Army Air Force. Moving on to number 8, we have the People's Liberation Army Air Force, or PLAAF, with a TVR score of 63.8. The PLAAF is the Aerial Warfare Service branch of the Chinese People's Liberation Army, and the largest air force in Asia, with over 2,000 aircraft. The PLAAF has a diverse and growing inventory of aircraft, including indigenous fighters, such as the J-10, J-11, J-16, and J-20, as well as bombers, transport, and special mission planes. The PLAAF also has a large fleet of helicopters, drones, and ballistic missiles. The PLAAF is rapidly modernizing and expanding its capabilities, with the aim of becoming a world-class air force by 2035. 7. Indian Air Force. At number 7, we have the Indian Air Force, with a TVR score of 69.4. The Indian Air Force is the air arm of the Indian Armed Forces, and the fourth largest air force in the world, with over 1,600 aircraft. The Indian Air Force operates a mix of Russian, French, British, and indigenous aircraft, such as the Su-30 Mki, Rafale, Jaguar, and Tejas. The Indian Air Force also has a nuclear-capable bomber, the Mirage 2000, and a ballistic missile, the Agni. The Indian Air Force is involved in several conflicts and disputes, such as the Kashmir issue, the border standoff with China, and the counter-terrorism operations in Pakistan. 6. United States Marine Corps. Coming in at number 6, we have the United States Marine Corps, with a TVR score of 85.3. The United States Marine Corps is a branch of the United States Armed Forces, responsible for providing expeditionary and amphibious operations. The United States Marine Corps has a fleet of over 1,100 aircraft, including fighters, such as the F-35B and the AV-8B Harrier, as well as helicopters, tiltrotors, and drones. The United States Marine Corps also operates the F/A-18 Hornet, which can perform both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. The United States Marine Corps is a highly mobile and versatile force, capable of deploying rapidly and operating in any environment. 5. United States Army Aviation. At number 5, we have the United States Army Aviation, with a TVR score of 112.6. The United States Army Aviation is a component of the United States Army, responsible for providing aviation support to ground forces. The United States Army Aviation has a fleet of over 4,300 aircraft, mostly helicopters, such as the AH-64 Apache, the UH-60 Black Hawk, and the CH-47 Chinook. The United States Army Aviation also operates fixed-wing aircraft, such as the C-12 Huron and the RC-12 Guardrail, as well as drones, such as the MQ-1C Gray Eagle and the RQ-7 Shadow. The United States Army Aviation is a vital asset for the United States Army, providing reconnaissance, transport, fire support, and medical evacuation. 4. Russian Air Force. Next, we have the Russian Air Force, with a TVR score of 114.2. The Russian Air Force is the aerial warfare service branch of the Russian Armed Forces, and the second largest air force in the world, with over 3,600 aircraft. The Russian Air Force operates a variety of aircraft, including fighters, such as the Su-27, Su-30, Su-35, and Su-57, as well as bombers, such as the Tu-95, Tu-160, and Tu-22M. The Russian Air Force also has a large fleet of transport, reconnaissance, and special mission planes, as well as helicopters, drones, and missiles. The Russian Air Force is a formidable force, with a long history of innovation and combat experience. 3. United States Navy. Moving on to number 3, we have the United States Navy, with a TVR score of 142.4. The United States Navy is a branch of the United States Armed Forces, responsible for naval warfare and maritime security. The United States Navy has a fleet of over 2,400 aircraft, including fighters, such as the F/A-18 Super Hornet and the F-35C, as well as bombers, such as the EA-18G Growler and the P-8 Poseidon. The United States Navy also operates transport, reconnaissance, and special mission planes, as well as helicopters, tiltrotors, and drones. The United States Navy is a global power, with 11 aircraft carriers and dozens of other ships and submarines. 2. United States Air Force. At number 2, we have the United States Air Force, with a TVR score of 242.9. The United States Air Force is the aerial warfare service branch of the United States Armed Forces, and the largest and most powerful air force in the world, with over 5,100 aircraft. The United States Air Force operates a wide range of aircraft, including fighters, such as the F-22, F-15, F-16, and F-35A, as well as bombers, such as the B-2, B-52, and B-1. The United States Air Force also has a huge fleet of transport, reconnaissance, and special mission planes, such as the C-17, U-2, and E-3. The United States Air Force also operates the X-37B spaceplane, which can perform orbital missions for months. The United States Air Force is a dominant force, with unmatched technology, capability, and reach. 1. United States Space Force. And finally, at number 1, we have the United States Space Force, with a TVR score of 243.0. The United States Space Force is the newest and most futuristic branch of the United States Armed Forces, responsible for space warfare and space operations. The United States Space Force has a fleet of over 100 spacecraft, including satellites, such as the GPS, SPIRS, and AEHF, as well as rockets, such as the Falcon 9, Delta IV, and Atlas V. The United States Space Force also operates the X-37B spaceplane, which can perform orbital missions for months. The United States Space Force is a visionary force, with a mission to protect and defend the interests of the United States and its allies in space. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments, which Air Force do you think is the best and why? See you next time.